There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.
Hey, we're live. How goes it?
Hello, hello, and welcome to this utopia. I am a unicorn named Annalese.
Annalese, my unicorn. Guys, if you're watching this live right now, don't forget, hit that like button, drop a comment. Every day, somebody wins some crypto. So all you have to do is like and comment. Find out if it's you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm with my bro Annalese. I would say from BitBasel or Block Babes or X, Y, and Z, but you do a lot. So I want you to, let people know what you're up to, and we'll dive into what we're getting into when I see you in Miami.
Awesome. I'm actually really happy that you're coming because you had told me no at first, and then I found out you're coming, and I was like, yes.
Well, I was worried about being able to, and I still am. I keep Google searching, flight restrictions for Florida, and it still all looks okay. But it is touch and go. Like, every day, dude, the day I get to the airport could be the day there's flight restrictions, and I'm just, constantly worried about being turned away unless I get, a 5-foot Q-tip stuck up my nose and brain, and I'm not doing it. I don't know. I'm not getting tested for something, you know what I mean? That's how you get sick. Why would I, if I don't feel sick, I'm not going to go to a place where people felt sick and got tested because they feel sick. I don't feel sick. I don't want to be in a position where I can get sick.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope right now, but I hope that doesn't happen to you, and I hope you can join us for BitBasel because I'm excited.
She says BitBasel, I say BitBasel, tomato, okay?
It's okay. If I said the same thing to someone last night, and they recommended me a Chesapeake salad because they were Italian. So, I understand. You're not the only one. So let me tell you what BitBasel is, guys. Ken will be coming to this exclusive event. It's going to be fun. But if you can't join us in Miami, you can join online at BitBasel. Damn it, Ken.
Yes!
Okay, BitBasel.Miami. So essentially, I'll be co-hosting the event. And Ken, I think are you going to be on a panel? I think you're going to be on a panel or just walk around.
I'm saying words. I'm pretty sure panel. I like panels. I really don't want to do a keynote-y thing, but I love panels. That's more my vibe for sure.
Yeah, it's an art event, guys. It's a hybrid art event. It's free. Okay, there's free giveaways. There's going to be NFT giveaways, and you know how Ken loves his NFTs. There's going to be swag with QR codes on the swag that can be shipped to you, and that will also be an NFT. So it's going to be people have been tokenizing the fashion industry lately. Have you noticed that? And this is a way to do it. So you can literally have tokenized swag, and come enjoy, come and hang out. There's going to be a lot of money's going to be featured. I think Marguerite has a panel. There's a lot of reputable names in the crypto art space that are coming through, as well as some, I guess, high caliber artists in the regular Miami art scene, and that's on the 5th. So it's from 6 p.m. to 12, I believe. So it's going to be a pretty long event. Everything's going to be recorded. But I think the cooler thing that we're doing, we jumped on the opportunity because Miami Art Basel is a whole thing. It's a week. People come out, they pay for bananas, duct tape to canvases, and they have fun.
Old
But
urinals and old fire hydrants with graffiti on them.
exactly. So, I mean, you know, Miami's notorious for the art scene, Art Deco Drive, all that kind of cool stuff. But obviously, you know, we're in the middle of Corona as we know it, and a lot of those bigger galleries got canceled. So it kind of like, you know, restrains people a little bit. But we decided to jump on the opportunity. And recently, the bit mining market moved to Wynwood, which is the art district of Miami. It's a entire place, market, I think, slash cafe dedicated to mining.
Oh,
So
wow.
I haven't been there yet. I've seen pictures of it. I've been to the old market before they moved to Wynwood. So I'm super excited to see the new market.
Visit
Apparently,
when I
they
get
decked
there?
it out. What was it?
Can we visit when I get in town? Like, can we go?
That's where it is. It's going to be at the market.
Oh, okay, yay! You know what? I keep thinking it's gonna be at the blockchain center. For some reason, my brain keeps going blockchain center because, you know, Miami and events.
Yeah, we did that last year, but yeah, we did a gallery at the center, like in person last year, and it was like the second like biggest like art crypto event like in the world. Like someone from Morocco came out, and I was like so happy. I was just like, oh my God, you're here. So like it was fun last year, but this year is a little different. And I think the cool thing that we're trying to do this year is have it go for not just Art Basel, but, you know, throughout the year. Because, you know, the blockchain center, unfortunately, isn't a physical location anymore due to
Rip.
the pandemic. It was, you know, a co-working space, but, you know, shutting down for periods, you know, at a time, months at a time, like rent is still due. So that has been closed since, and we're trying to do more, you know, remote event styled things.
That's
and
more
we're rebranding to
inclusive too,
BitBasel.
though. By like, you know, as you get more virtual with these things, it becomes more inclusive. Like, it was cool that there's a blockchain center in Miami, but I'm all the way up here in New Jersey right now, and yeah, but you know, if there's like an alt space version of the blockchain center, I can always go. It doesn't matter where I live.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, I mean, that's why I love virtual reality. Virtual reality is probably one of my favorite things, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I just love the aspects of being able to get virtually, which is, you know, why the hybrid gallery kind of came into play. Because, you know, you can only have so many people. I think you have to apply for a permit to have like any more than like 30 people in one location, which is kind of nuts, you know? Like I'm used to like just going to the park and there being like hundreds of people there. And now I have to get a permit if I want, you know, any more than I can count on, you know, my hands and toes. So, you know, we're in different times, and different times call for different measures. And I think this is a good solution to that, especially, you know, not canceling Art Week as a whole, but trying to get the community involved and engaged, especially this year. There was like, you know, everybody started getting into NFTs. I feel like just recently, like you had mentioned to me, this is like the third big wave, you know, everything comes in waves. So this year, especially being an NFT wave in the art scene and the gaming scene, and there being like, you know, so much upcoming news about just NFTs and their use cases, we had to jump on the opportunity and make sure that we, you know, brought something not only to Miami, but globally that people can enjoy for Art Week.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to some artists that, you know, probably don't care too much about like tokenization, and just like, you know, on-ramp them into the world of NFTs and show them how easy it is to have like a virtual, you know, distribution opportunity for their art. You know, it's really interesting to have like a physical print of somebody's work, but now I could have a virtual version. It's the same thing. I have a print. It's a 1 of 100 or 67 of 100. I know which number mint this screenshot essentially is. And I just want to see like what that light bulb moment is for artists when they get that they could essentially sell screenshots. Because it's like watering it down to what it is that's to somebody who could care less about the tokenomics. It's like, wait, I can make art on my iPad and screenshot that shit and then sell that shit? I'm like, yeah, bro. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, no, it's actually really funny when you put it that way, because that's literally what it is. Because I mean, it's not even a high quality image. So for a lot of these NFTs, it's a small JPEG.
Yeah.
So
and the pixel art is what I fucking love the most. Like, dead ass, I love the pixel art. Like that, like 8-bit freaking 1990s tokenized shit. Like Atari getting into NFTs, I was in. That was my stuff. I'm like, yes, I want the retro NFTs where it's like, You know what I mean? It's like I have an NFT of like the 80s. It makes no sense.
I have an NFT of the 80s. No, but I mean, it kind of just shows you like how, I mean, the same way the internet's been evolving, this is the same way that blockchain is evolving and will continue to evolve and will grow alongside, you know, Web 3.0 and IoT of things whenever we like, you know, start getting into all that stuff. Because honestly, the more people are going online more and more, you know,
Right.
like even like this time period has pushed people online way more than ever before. And, you know, no one's actually complaining besides not getting to go to like, you know, a theme park every now and then. You know, people actually like working from home and being at home and, you know, having access to their stuff, you know,
Not
within
even
their
home,
comfort zone
just working remotely. I mean, I could, visit my friends,
anywhere.
family, go out on vacation, travel, and still do my job. So working from home is definitely going to be more of a. I think that digital nomad mentality will definitely sweep due to like this cabin fever esque. Like what's the cure for this year long cabin fever? Probably a year long hiatus. People are going to travel. And they're going to get out and about and figure out how to do that and make a living out of it at the same time, whether it be
Yeah.
content creating or just, the gig economy is blowing up, especially digitally. You could play a video game 9 to 5 and make a freaking living off of it, depending on the game you play and how good you are at it. And there's a lot of things that I think that are cool to talk about when it comes to like art and non-fungible tokenization. Is it's not just, I kind of, like I said, watered it down there when I said like screenshots on the blockchain. But I mean, we're starting to see like, full-fledged animated, art. We're starting to see like music videos and audio. So
Yeah.
depending on the type of art you make, you can still tokenize it. It doesn't just have to be, a screenshot anymore. If you make, animation, if you make, music, if you do anything, honestly, that is of art, you can tokenize it now with these new NFT protocols, and new NFT protocols are coming out every day.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this article, but Forbes even wrote an article about the rapper Lil Yachty tokenizing himself.
Yep.
He was so it's crazy. Like it's happening. These things are happening. These things are real. You can literally do anything with Wi-Fi in a dream.
With Wi-Fi in a dream, I love it. No,
True.
you're right. I want to see, and that's the thing is artists are opportunistic. The starving artist. It's not so literal as it is more of a mantra. It's like, the starving artist thing is like, just work hard because, you got to. And I think that this is going to be an opportunity a lot of artists are going to try and experiment with, because that's just the nature of it. There's a new brush out, new type of paint, there's a new style of canvas. They experiment with it because usually first to action artists have, a good opportunity. The first artists to start doing this, that, and the other, they're the first, right? So it sets a precedent. And I think that wave is coming, and it could come from Miami, could come from, Austin, Texas has like a really big art scene. California's huge on it. Venice is like, really big in it, but it's definitely going to come from one of those, one of those beacons of adoption. And I think it's where tech meets art. And that's why I think like that Silicon Valley vibe, there will be an art district that has that same, when you think Silicon Valley, you think like high-end tech. When you say whatever it will be, that you'll be thinking high-tech art. You'll be thinking of virtual tokenized art coming from that location, because that incubator was the first to really adopt it. And it could be Miami, could be Florida.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what's to come. There's so much happening. Even yesterday, like I saw somebody who drew, VR is like a whole like ecosystem in itself. Somebody drew a maze and Tilt-Brush and put in VR. People were walking through the maze. Like, it was an empty room, but like since they were like,
Oh wait, I think I lost your audio. Why did I lose your... I lost your audio. Give me 1 second. This is weird. Alright. It looks good on my end, but I can see that YouTube isn't receiving your audio. Alright, let me turn that off, and I'll turn that back on. My bad, everybody. Good thing I caught that. Alright, your audio's back.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So what I was saying is even VR is like a whole like another space and sector in itself. And I guess we'll kind of like divvy off from Art Tech. We'll come back, we'll wrap around. But there was an artist I met, she for specifically this art event that she made, mazes in VR where you can she drew it in tilt brush. And even though like in front of you is like an empty room, like you would put the headset on through the maze and get stuck on the wall. And it was really cool just seeing people interact with that and seeing how they like interacted with their virtual world in the real world. Cause like they would like act like, something was actually there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah. So for people who, can't even like leave their homes and, and that has always been a thing. Like there's people who can't, walk, can't do this, can't do
Right,
that.
I always thought about the medical purposes, the
Here.
medicinal attributes that
Right.
VR could contribute to society, and not even like detrimental, illnesses or whatever, but like even things as like social anxiety disorders and stuff like that. Like
there's literally a community in Japan that they're like, have you heard of them? They're like introverts, and it's a growing community because I guess the Japanese culture, the way that they see people and the way that they expect people to act is really strict, from my understanding. But like there's a growing group of like men and women who like do not go out. They do not leave their room. Like they do not leave like they live at their parents' house in their room all day, and if their parents can get them to open the door, that's great. Like that's a whole thing right now, and it's kind of nuts, and that's why a lot of people rely on the internet and rely on even like virtual friends. It's a thing, so I mean, like you said, like people, they get anxiety, sometimes they can't function, and we're all different.
Well, perfect segue into being different and talking about virtual engagement. Your alt space podcast stuff is freaking awesome. I pop in every once in a while, fly on the wall status, but like I just love the different experience as like as a viewer or as a consumer of that content, from like just watching a podcast like mine, like this on YouTube. It's like so basic. It's basic bitch shit. And then here you're doing this fucking alt space, virtual reality, just awesomeness. I do want to, shout out Jerome and everybody that's doing all that cool stuff. So like, let people know a little bit about like your alt space podcast and like how you go about doing that and how they can experience that podcast. Cause it's not just like, I don't watch Annalese's podcast. I experience Annalese's podcast. It's like totally different environment.
Yeah, and I mean that's exactly what it is. It's an experience. I love it when I can get my guests in VR with me. It's so much better, and I mean I feel like
they have
like
so much fun immediately with all the emotes and shit. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's funny, and like I mean it's funny because like whenever I pop up on screen, they expect to see a person. Because I'll invite them on for like Crypto Mondays, and if they don't have like a VR headset, which I mean now AltSpace is compatible with
Mac and everybody all of a sudden.
Yeah,
gotta love it.
All of a sudden,
out
right?
of nowhere, they're like, oh, we're Mac friendly, Ken. Come on in.
I know exactly. Me, my face right now. So I mean, hopefully, like I'm gonna get more people into VR, but on Tuesdays is really where like everything's like full VR. But I started hosting Crypto Mondays in VR because that was one of the events that I used to love going to Miami every other Monday. The Blockchain Center would have Crypto Mondays, and I used to love going to those events. I used to love meeting people. I used to love talking to people, and then after Corona kind of happened, I had I knew Lou. Lou was the founder of Crypto Mondays, just globally. He is the first one who, did one of those events. And since then branched off, there's individual like little founders of their own locations. But, there's about 5,000 people in New York that Lou was kind of accounted for, and he let me take over that account and just run with it and say like, hey, let's do events virtually. And for the most part, for the first like couple events, like we would always do them virtually, and people would love them. They would come in and be like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is amazing. And then of course, trying to get more and more guests. Some people don't have VR headsets. Some people, they don't have compatible devices. Some people, they don't, Apple wasn't a thing until recently. So sometimes I'll come on screen as my avatar, I'll still be in VR and also have like, you know, a watch group in VR, and then I'll put them on screen
So essentially,
people in VR
they're
can see
talking
them.
to a cartoon in a
Yeah.
video game.
Yeah. And it's really funny because they're just like, oh my, like when they see me just pop up like virtually, they're like, oh my God. They're like, is that you, Annalese? I'm like, hi, how are you? And it's funny because, you know, I had interviewed Harumi from Celsius, and she didn't know what I looked like because she had talked to me strictly in VR at first. And when she saw me, because I invited her on my other show, The Black Babes, she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, yeah, you're so pretty. And I was like, yeah, hi, this is me. So it's kind of really funny to like, you know, see people interact with the characters. They actually really like it. But yeah, my goal is to, you know, bring more awareness to the virtual ecosystem, especially like I use Altspace. There's other platforms that I think one of my friends for one of my other podcasts, he just built a world in Somnium Space. So like I can't wait to use that. That's going to be pretty cool. That's I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Somnium Space is a lot higher quality than Altspace.
Yeah. So I mean, and that kind of goes to show as like, you know, we have a really restricted crowd, but I would love to get everyone in there. But even the people that, you know, I do meet in Altspace, because a lot of those guys are techies, you know, like people who are in VR, the chances are they're techies. But a lot of them don't necessarily know crypto.
Yeah, it's a nerd community for sure. It's nerd heavy community.
Yeah, and not everyone knows crypto, not everyone knows blockchain. So I met a fair share. And whenever I do my fireside chats, or well, not fireside chat, but like my Futures podcast on Tuesdays. It's full VR. If you don't have VR, you can't come. I'm just kidding. I stream it. So, but yeah, so that one's full VR, and that one I get a pretty, you know, decent crowd that comes in, and we talk a lot, you know, crypto, and there's a lot of newbies in there. So many people who don't know much about Bitcoin. They didn't know that blockchain was the technology behind Bitcoin. And I don't know, I found a real I guess niche market of need when it comes to, you know, having VR content, because there's so many people who are in VR who are curious about, you know, what we have going on in the crypto space. So that's probably one of the benefits and perks that I find, you know, just being in VR, because I get to meet people, I get to have experience with people, I get to have like actual conversations with people. Like, you know, I sit on my chair, I have my remotes, I'm talking with my hands.
Well, it's almost like having
the same experience.
It's almost like having like a new era talk show with like a live studio audience. You know, like when I'm at the podcast or I'm at like one of your Altspace events, I'm with like a live studio audience. People are cheering and engaging, and it actually can change what's happening on stage because of that engagement, and it actually creates its own like experience. Like again, it's an experience that unlike anything really that you can compare this to. I think it's just really smart to be an early adopter to this, because it is very early. Like you said, there isn't like a bubble of like, you know, Bitcoin or crypto centric events happening in these alternate reality metaverses like Altspace or Somnium Space. So you have that niche bottleneck of nerds that are interested in a topic where there isn't a lot of content being created in that ecosystem where they want to digest in entertainment and content. So what would you recommend to somebody who's trying to get into creating content and using something like Altspace or a virtual like entertainment platform?
First, definitely get a VR headset. It's cool that you can have it on your PC or you can have it on your computer, but it's a completely different experience, and it's just different when you're in a headset. You know, Oculus, I was yelling at Oculus the other day because their Elite straps aren't very good. I think they had a, you know, bad batch, but you know, that's another conversation for another day. But their basic headset right now starts at $299. You know, and the headset itself is really good. The graphics are great. Battery life is great. Everything about the headset itself is good. But, you know, that's probably your first step when it comes to, you know, actually getting serious about hosting events in the virtual space. Your next step is going to be setting it up. Okay. So you know, you don't really know who your crowd is, right? And that's kind of what I love. I do very minimal like advertising for my VR events outside on my social media, just because I have 1,000,001 things to do in the day. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I have 1,000,001 things to do in the day. So, sometimes I don't get around to it, but I have a crowd of 30, 40 people show up sometimes just because it's an alt space. They've added better features now where people can find your worlds or find your events better. So they are making it easier to, have people come back.
Yeah, I used to wander into events, which is really cool because you could just open up alt space and there's a plethora of shit events, to do. Exactly. And it's just like random. It's like almost like a new version of the AOL chat rooms back in the day. You could make your own AOL chat room and set it public and just let strangers wander into your chat space. That's kind of how alt space feels. I just kind of click on a topic and I'm just teleported into like surrounded by people that are talking about like cars or something. There was like a car conference in alt space one day and I was like, wait, what is this? And I thought it was like virtual cars no, it was like a real physical car show, but then they like copied and pasted what was happening in the real world into the virtual world. So that was pretty cool. It was like I don't know, like to see what's like that kind of happen too. Like I would love to see like physical events being done virtually simultaneously. So I could.
I mean, have you been to the Rarible Gallery or the Mint Gox world? They have their own worlds too. Like there's on these platforms. One's on VR chat, the other one's in alt space. But like people are. It's a very small community. Like we're growing. I'm probably like one of like 5 like crypto creators in VR. I promise you. Like probably in alt space, probably there's more of us, but like, there's only so many events that I get around to, but there's spaces, there's entire worlds that are built. Bitcoin Citadel, when we did our event last year, there was a bunch of worlds that got built in VR chat and alt space that people could come and they were, you can walk through a Bitcoin museum.
That's badass.
Yeah, like there was so many stuff. I went to Rarible. They have a art gallery. They have 3 actually in VR chat, and they're huge. They're pretty cool. They're pretty amazing. So there's endless amounts of opportunity, endless amounts of innovation and creativity that's happening. So I mean, if you're into real world events and you're kind of scared or to go to them right now, or you can't go to them right now, jump in VR. Because they're there. They exist.
I saw Jerome popped up in the chat and said mixed reality. Thanks. That's the word I was looking for. Mixed reality. It's badass. And to be able to go and relive an event too. Like, I don't know if it's possible, but is it possible to like record in alt space? So like, I could be visiting a virtual event that has already happened. And sort of like watch it, but be inside of it while I'm watching it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if anybody's recording what's happening in these virtual worlds, but I think it would be really cool to be able to go to an event that happened that I missed, but be able to at least still participate in it, even if it's in the past.
Right. I mean, the same way that I do it whenever I record my events and I stream them. My Tuesday podcast,
right, but that's
full
just like
VR.
The 2-dimensional recording, not like a virtual recording.
Multi-dimensional recording, like all around, like 3D.
Like yeah, exactly. Recording the entire immersive experience and being able to move through it as like a ghost traveling through the past.
I think you would. I'm pretty sure that's a possibility. I think you would. That sounds like a task that I would have to look into. But I'm sure that's possible. I mean, I'm sure that's possible. I don't know. I've never done it. I'd have to look into it.
Yeah, Jerome says somebody's working on it. I'm sure they are, man. Like for sure. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I see Jake and some members here. Let me see.
Hey, Jake.
Benjamin, thanks everybody. Oh, Bitcoiner, how goes it, bro?
You know what I will say? VR chat, they have a multicam feature, and potentially if they build on that, then there could be like a 3D feature.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, so it's in the works, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there.
All right, yeah, and this is where I think you're in the right position to host an event like BitBasel. Oh, did I say it right?
Yeah, I didn't say Basil.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say BitBasel now. Yes, you're in a perfect position to host an event like this. I guess like let's talk about a little bit about what people can expect. When they tune in. Is this going to be in like a virtual experience, or is this just going to be something live streamed on YouTube in 2-dimensional? Are people going to be calling in and speaking virtually, or is this mostly IRL? I just want to give people a little bit about what they can expect, and don't forget, go to BitBasel.Miami. It should be in the description box below, and you can RSVP today.
So so this is a hybrid event, right? So it's going to be some things that are going to be happening there in real life. We're going to be talking to the crowd in real life. There's going to be live painting. There's going to be some panels in real life. And then there's also going to be some recorded panels. Now, specifically for BitBasel, damn it, Ken, BitBasel. Specifically for BitBasel, I don't think there's any VR, but I believe so, only because I think that's also where they're putting all the virtuals artists' stuff. I wasn't really clear on that part. Scott didn't mention like the specifics to me, but there's definitely information on the website about it. So to my knowledge, it's only going to be XR in the sense of web video cam chat, recorded interviews, and then stuff in real life. But there's another art gallery going on, and that one is fully in VR. That one's going to be on Altspace. It's called Art Tech Music. ArtTechMiami.com is where you can go find out about that one. That one's going to be both in XR, VR, and there's also a hybrid gallery. So this one is from the 4th to the 6th, I believe. It's a week-long gallery, and artists are going to be having like interviews and panels, and they'll be in the world kind of just talking to people, and you can interact with the artists. Every day a new portion of the world will pop up, so it's not the same thing every day. Every day there's going to be new art that's going to be imported into the world, and there's going to be, you know, music events. There's a DJ that agreed to being played. He's a well-known DJ in Miami. So that one, if you guys are interested in going to a full VR event, that one is fully in VR. And then there's also a XR version. If you don't have VR, you can go to ozone.com. I'll have to get Ozone on that one, Ken. But yeah, it's basically an XR world where it's built on the web. Think of crypto voxels, right? Web3, web VR. So it's not real VR, but you can attend on the web. That is also going to be a gallery that you can, you know, go on the web if you are interested in looking at the web version of VR. I hope more VR goes web VR, because it's more inclusive, more people can use it, and I don't see why there can't be like a web version of the other things. Like they could water it down and kind of downgrade it to be web compatible. They could. I think web VR is probably going to be like that main foundation for VR, because that's how most people are going to engage with it. And then you'll have the premium levels and layers on top of it that you could have, like, you know, more immersiveness. I mean, dude, these headphones I got have haptic feedback. They vibrate when people shoot me. It's the immersiveness people are going to be looking for to level up, but it has to have that basic, you know, earbud level, like basic tech that people could adopt it and test it out with. I think what Crypto Voxels is doing, though, by like tokenizing a virtual web world like that is genius. Sandbox is killing it. Have you decided to get involved with anything in like a tokenized virtual aspect? Do you have any like virtual land, or are you planning on trying to do something like what you're doing with your podcast in Altspace in something like Decentraland? So I've been wanting to. The only thing is, you know, of course, within a niche market, getting into a more niche market and then getting nicher, like it's just.
You have like one person that can actually consume the content after all the niches.
Right, exactly. So I mean, at first, when I got into doing stuff in VR, there was, you know, it was kind of lackluster when it came from, you know, actual stuff being built on Decentraland and stuff being in Somnium Space and all that stuff. Now I'm seeing more development. Now Binance jumped on it. Now Celsius has a virtual space, and you know, it's getting more developed. It's more built out. It's actually like, okay, something that I can go into. Brian, one of the co-hosts of our Tuesday podcast, like I said, he built an entire world in Somnium Space. So we're going to test it out. We're going to see how that works. We're going to see if we like it, gauge traction for people who actually come into the world, and see if they have any good, options or features when it comes to crowd control. Because that's something that I specifically like about Altspace. They have the event tools where, if a troll comes in, because, there's trolls everywhere, guys. Not everybody wants to listen to your event. So if a troll comes in, I can mute them or kick them out or, etc. Versus a lot of other VR platforms, such as, VR Chat or Rec Room or any of those places. They don't have any of that stuff. They're not meant for actual formal gatherings. So I'm gonna try out Somnium Space. Of course, it's more of a, if you're in Somnium Space, chances are you're either a VR head or a techie. You're probably not a child like I can find in Altspace. So, it kind of eliminates a little bit of that fear factor, but just to gauge how many people are actually on these platforms, we're going to test it out. I think the world is just about fully built, according to Brian. So hopefully one of these days we're going to hop over.
Right? Brian fully builds this, and you and Jerome have built so much in Altspace, and it's a centralized environment where dude, all the work you put into it one day could just be Facebook shadow banned or Twitter, deleted. And I just, it stresses me out just seeing all that amazing work and effort you're putting in and just thinking there's no asset ownership here in Altspace, and there's no control over all that, resource that you've contributed to that ecosystem. And that level of censorship deters me myself from really investing into an Altspace environment because of what if they don't like that we're doing Bitcoin events and talking about tokenization, and what if it's oh, this is financial advice, you're banned, and I'm well, there goes my Altspace. I'm waiting so much for something like Crypto Voxels and Decentraland to get to that point where I could comfortably invest in it, but for now I'm just experimenting and consuming the content of people that do build on those centralized platforms. But Is that something that you've ever thought of while building on these, Altspace? Have you ever thought about oh wait, are we going to get in trouble with terms of services and get our group banned or something? Has that happened ever in the past even?
I don't know if anyone's been banned from Altspace in that sense, unless you get reported for trolling too much or something like that. Microsoft, when they picked up Altspace, they've been kind of lenient. They've been developing more stuff with Altspace, and I think now that Facebook is coming out with Horizons, which is terrible, by the way, is coming out with Horizons, and there's more companies actually getting into building things in the virtual space. Maybe there will be stricter guidelines that can come into place. So that is definitely something that is of concern. As of right now, I haven't had too much issues, only because there is still, even though there's a lot of people that, come on Altspace, it's still relatively a small community. Us in crypto, we consider us a small community. But, there's even 18 plus comedy shows that you go to, and, you can set up stuff to your accommodation, I guess you could say. Altspace is pretty lenient for right now, I can say, at least. Okay, so cool. I can't tell a year from now if they decide to say, F you guys, we're going to become Facebook and ban everything.
I just didn't know if we would see a virtual Burning Man in Altspace or a 420
Metaburn. That happened.
Something.
Well, it didn't happen in Altspace. It happened in that XR gallery I was talking about, the XR world. XR Labs, Paul, he got with the coordinators from Burning Man, and because it didn't happen last year, they made technically this year, they made a virtual Burning Man called Metaburn.
Okay, so I don't have to worry too much then if they got away with that.
Yeah,
because I'm sitting here if you smoke a joint or say something off script or whatever, I do worry about Altspace becoming a YouTube situation where they just too much censorship, a lot of band heaviness. And then seeing people get deplatformed.
I think because events are...
Oh, Metaburn was in Altspace. Oh, and
it was in Altspace?
It was in both. All right.
It was in both. Okay. All right. Well, now I know. So I think because it's an in-person situation versus recorded content, I think Altspace has a little more leeway and leverage as to what is possible. because like literally what would have to happen is that Microsoft, codes a bot that listens to every single avatar ever and, picks up keywords. And that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If they were to get to that point, and I don't know, that's kind of nuts to me. And they would have to catch
Facebook will probably be the first to build the API that will be adopted by all other platforms. But yeah.
Oh God, I hope not.
Have you heard of Superworld app? I interviewed the CEO the other day. I actually just tagged Jerome and the CEO in the public Telegram chat that you're in. But yeah, what they're doing is basically having like a tokenized virtual overlay of the world. So they took the world that we have and then tokenized it in a virtual sense that overlaps the physical world. So, like, you can't have more land than there is land on the planet, which I think is cool. So it adds that scarcity, which a lot of virtual worlds don't get much scarcity. They just keep expanding their virtual world, which is cool, but it doesn't, give me much to go on when it comes to early investing in things. Like, okay, I thought there was only a couple hundred plots. Now there's 1 million plots of virtual land. And
yeah. I remember that was a huge thing when Decentraland came out, the scarcity aspect, because people were paying a lot of money for some of these plots of land.
It was scarce at the time.
Yeah.
At the time.
But,
So have you heard of Superworld? Or
I have not. No. I'll have to look into that one. Somebody told me about that one, and ETH. There's like an ETH one too. God, I forgot the name of it. It's like,
well,
ETH
they're on
something.
Ethereum, but they're not called ETH anything. But Superworld's an Ethereum based, but they're blockchain agnostic. They're interoperable with multiple blockchains. But I just think it's cool that there's like a way that like I could basically buy the virtual real estate.
A god simulator. That's cute.
On top of like a sports stadium. And now, the sports stadium could build inside of Superworld without, like, having any permissions for me. I just happen to own that virtual block. But then I can earn, like, basically rent revenue, like passive income through the virtual real estate.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's actually kind of cute.
Yeah, I figured it'd be right up your alley. If you guys didn't know about it, now you do. I'm interested to see what you guys think of it. I did the interview yesterday, so if Jerome, you have a chance, I see you in the chat. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think. I thought Superworld's really cool. I mean, first thing I thought of was like I would love to buy my childhood home, even if it's a virtual, plot of it. I would still like to own that, virtual plot of land just to have it. And I mean, I get it, like, there's so many different virtual platforms, but I think what Superworld's doing by mapping the physical world to that virtual tokenized world, like what Pokemon Go did, when you go to a Poke Center or Pokestop or whatever to get the drops, that's exactly what they're doing with this tokenized VR mixed reality. I can hear Jerome yelling at me already in the chat. It's like mixed reality tokenization, which I think is like the next step, right? Like I could physically go to a place and like, check out like a meetup that you're doing in VR, or I could stay on my couch and travel virtually to do the same thing. But I think that that's cool to be able to just like imagine physically walking into the blockchain center, opening up your phone with Superworld and looking around and seeing like a totally different, world virtually than what's there physically behind the phone.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love those concepts, those real world applications. I think they're the most relatable, especially, things that people can understand. Because when it comes to this virtual space and this internet money and all this other stuff, it's not relatable to people, which is why they don't get it. So having things that people can understand. Wait for Banksy to break
into your virtual world and graffiti some NFT art on like a pixel on one of your, walls in a virtual place. That's when people might start to get it, like Banksy just graffitied on a virtual wall, and that virtual wall just sold for $100,000. Explain this to me.
Oh yeah, no, trust me. I think that besides the dollar signs that are getting flung around in this virtual space, between crypto and VR and XR and all this wonderful tech, it's definitely getting people's attention more and more and more. And I'm starting to hear a little less of, oh, I'm too old for that, you know, because now like most grandmas have iPhones. So I'm starting to see a transition. It's definitely like a generational transition, you know, like the younger generation is going to get on it, you know, ASAP 10 times over, you know, a couple 2%, 3% of the older generation. So I'm excited to, you know, go into, I don't know, life, virtual, a simulation. Are we in a simulation yet? Like, I don't even know what this is anymore.
You mentioned like the older generation and a virtual experience and understanding now. And I think, you know, during this lockdown, it's actually progressed that adoption exponentially. You know, a lot of the seniors have started, you know, virtual chatting with their doctors. So there's like a common practice now to Zoom call your doctor rather than go to an office surrounded by people that are sick. That's why they're there to see the doctor, and you just have an injury. And now you're going to leave with an injury and a sickness. So
and an illness,
win.
Exactly.
Yeah, good job. So a lot of people are really starting to get into that. And even with the holidays, we're seeing like grandmas and grandpas kind of Zoom call in and have these like holiday virtual conference calls with their families. And you know, all Christmas shopping is going to be done on fucking Amazon and eBay this year. There ain't nobody getting in line at Toys R Us. It ain't happening anymore. You know, people are getting involved more virtually now than ever due to the lockdown, and it's just adoption phase has now progressed so fast. And it's another thing too to see like how you know, the youth are using it with video games. The parents are, you know, it used to be turn off that game and go outside. It's a lot less of that now, and it's like, all right, why don't you stay in, maybe don't get sick playing with your friends in the dirt, and play this video game over here, because Ninja's making a living off of it. It's like, keep going, little Timmy, go get those headshots.
I was going to say RIP, what's it called, Toys R Us, but apparently they're like coming back and revamping, last I heard.
I saw that coming from a mile away. Toys R Us ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of just wanted to mention this because it's really funny. And, you know, a lot of people, they were taking out second mortgages and, you know, like buying up crypto with their credit cards and, you know, like just throwing themselves into like debt. And then they kind of like, you know, broke down and got worried and said like, oh, you know, how am I going to pay this off during, you know, the 2017 crash. And we're starting to see that a little bit again. Not that we've crashed, but like, you know, we're on our way up. But debt is a tool, guys, and I kind of just wanted to throw that out there. Companies file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy all the time. Businessmen file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy all the time. And the same way you saw your store, like Agassi or Charlotte Russe, they went away and came back, is because they did that. They used that tool. They got rid of literally all the debt that they had. They said, government, we can't pay this. Here you go. They said, all right, forgiven, and started over. All right.
Yeah,
the actual revenue that they had. I
learned that businesses do something even crazier than bankruptcy. It's called filing for debt forgiveness.
Yeah,
that's like a thing. It's like a real thing, and it's just like, okay, we forgive you, and it's like, but where does the debt go? Like, where
does the debt go? Why are you harassing me all the time? All these, you know, like
I get phone calls all the time for shit I don't even really owe money to anymore, and it's just like, wait, they can get debt forgiveness?
Exactly. So, you know, with that, educate yourself, learn about debt, learn how debt actually works, learn how to actually, like, you know, use debt to your advantage, because guess what? They're going to keep printing money. They're going to keep forgiving.
You just made me think of like companies. A meme where like your FICO score is your Saiyan level. It's over 900.
Oh God. Oh man. I couldn't, like, you know, I literally, like, you know, I don't mean to seem like that one, but you know, one of my credit cards, I was like, you know what? I just gave up on it. Like, I just gave up on it. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to max it out with crypto and they can call me.
Yeah, where we're going, credit scores don't matter, you know.
Credit scores don't matter. Not in my space.
I mean, you know how much money I owed Blockbuster right before Netflix was like...
Blockbuster!
You know, I'm sure they wish they had that money I owed them now. But they eventually stopped asking for it. Yeah,
You're the reason Blockbuster died.
People like me, I'm sure. You know how many times I put in an empty box and said, no, it was in there when I put it in there, man. I don't know what happened. I'm just saying, like, you know, the FICO score, credit debt, and all that stuff that we acknowledge today won't exist in a world that adopts Bitcoin. And at the rate institutions are throwing hundreds of millions of dollars into this, it's inevitable. I mean, I'm waiting for corporate to kind of catch on to the whole, like, wait, debt doesn't matter where we're going. And just take a shit ton of loans out, buy Bitcoin with it, and burn their own debt. You know what I mean? Like, just, yeah, who cares? They're going to take advantage of the system. But right now, like you mentioned, it's our turn. It's our chance. After this, the opportunity is gone because corporations have taken that opportunity away. But right now, they don't have that chance. They're getting it. It's very close. We have on-ramps now that can fill hundreds of millions of dollars worth of orders. When Bitcoin hit $20,000 back in the day, bro, we did not have those on-ramps to facilitate $100 million purchases like we're seeing today.
Exactly. And back in the day, again, like that wasn't all institutional money. That was regular Joe Schmoes. Right now, we're at 18,000 guys because of institutional money. Regular Joe Schmoes haven't even realized it yet. So, you know, get a piece of this pie.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of the people, I don't even tell a lot of people to buy Bitcoin anymore. There's so many different ways to earn it. I'm just curious, maybe if we could touch on some of those ways. Is there anything that, you know, you kind of look forward to when you, like, because for me, I use Fold app, and it's just like every day I get a free lottery ticket to see if I win some Satoshis. And I've got a couple of people in my family throughout this, like, you know, holiday lockdown moment. I'm like, just downloading, and they're like, oh shit, I got like $5 worth of Bitcoin now. I'm like, yeah, good shit. Keep stacking your sats.
Exactly.
Is there anything that you use or would like recommend people to, you know, kind of get some free crypto? Because I know it's hard to believe, but there's a lot of ways to basically get free crypto, you know, by earning. Is there any platforms that you take advantage of or kind of, you know,
I actually made a stream on this last week. So my first platform, if you're learning about crypto, you're brand new, you know, I don't use it to trade, just use it for the education. Coinbase Earn. Coinbase Earn gives you free cryptocurrency just for sitting down and learning about it, understanding it, you know, grasping what you're doing. So that's probably one of the first platforms I recommend. Second platform, Fold app or GetPay. You know, they work a little differently. For GetPay, you basically connect your debit or credit card and, you know, you're already spending on it. You don't have to do anything else. And it gives you sats back. It gives you cash back essentially in crypto. And that's all you do. The same thing, you know, you go buy some Chipotle, you get sats back, etc. The other one, Fold, like Ken mentioned, that one's like gift card based, and I think they're coming out with a debit card, if I'm not mistaken, soon.
I've been struggling with the KYC process, bro, but I swear I'm this close to cracking the code. I want that card so bad. Like, what Fold is doing with that card is like, that is the opt-out mainstream on-ramp tool to becoming self-sovereign. It's like, this is exactly how we get grandma into Bitcoin. With the Fold card.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are two apps that I would recommend whenever just, you know, buying between gift cards or, you know, whatever. And you literally can use them both, you know, because if I have Pay and I buy a gift card off Fold and I decide to, because you can either use the Lightning Network or you can use your debit or credit card, like you're getting sats back on your Pay and you're getting sats back on your Fold. Like you can literally, you know, double the points just by doing what you already do. These are very easy things to do.
Do you use Try Lolly or Lolly? I always say Try Lolly because that's their damn Twitter handle. But Lolly.
Lolly.com. Lolly.com is another one if you guys are doing online shopping. If you're doing online shopping, give you sats back for online shopping. It's like Honey. Have you guys ever used Honey? Those browser extensions, it'll, you know, give you some deals. Same concept. You just do it through Lolly, and I mean that's it. There was a few browser-based ones that came out, like Moon and this other one. That one was for Amazon to, like, you know, convert for you to pay in crypto through Amazon, which that one was pretty cool. But try Lolly. It gives you sats back for any of the stores that they have. And I mean, I think I've racked up like probably $70 from online shopping. They don't have it for Amazon, but when they do,
Speaking of Amazon, it's a holiday season. A lot of people may get stuck with some gift cards that they don't want. And Purse.io is a really cool way to take your Amazon gift cards and buy Bitcoin with it. Essentially, you'll be buying somebody's order that they have put a bid in for. So if like somebody wants to buy a new computer, they'll say, I'll give you X amount of Bitcoin if you buy the computer for me. And basically, you'll use that gift card to buy that computer on Amazon for that person. And then you get the Bitcoin that they put in the escrow.
That's actually pretty cool. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, it goes both ways. So if you actually wanted to just buy that computer and all you had was Bitcoin, you could say, hey, somebody buy this computer for me, I'll give you Bitcoin. So essentially, you're spending Bitcoin on Amazon because Purse.io works through that.
Right. No, that's cool. I like that. That's a neat one. But like even if you guys are looking for newer stuff, if you're looking for that hidden gem, airdrop still exists, guys. Airdropalert.com. Faucet still exists if you're on Twitter. All these things they still exist.
Follow CoinKit. I fucking love CoinKit.
Yes, CoinKit. I started using that one recently, and I mean, you literally tip people for engaging with your content, and it's
Bitcoiner's been outshining me. I see you in the chat, you fucker. This dude comes out of nowhere and starts CoinKit master dropping on me.
Yeah, no, he did that to me the other day, and like I kid you not, like 30 people flocked to he tipped me, but I saw his post about giving I think 1,377 people 1,377.
I saw that.
I was like, okay, Bitcoiner, all right. But he had tipped me that number because I guess that's his lucky number or something. But people just flock to the comment oh my god, no way, give me some. And the way it's written out, the way that CoinKit works is it tips you in sats, but it looks like it's tipping you from the naked eye in BTC if you didn't know any better. So people were literally thinking oh my god, he just gave this girl $1 million. So I don't know. It's kind of funny, but CoinKit's a very useful tool as well. I think Bottle Pay was coming back. I think so.
Oh, all right.
That one.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned though with Earn is probably the most lucrative opportunity for noobs to get into the space and actually earn a decent amount. You can get over $100 worth of crypto from Coinbase's Earn program. And all you have to do is watch a video or two, and you're done. And you could just
you don't even have to watch them, but if you're new, I recommend you to watch them. You can literally skip through them.
Yeah,
you used to have to watch them. You don't even have to watch them anymore. You can just answer the questions, and it'll pay you.
I tried to do that when they first launched it, but I think they saw the shit I talk on Twitter. So it's just a no-go with me and Coinbase.
Ken.
Yeah, I got denied for the whole Earn program. I was like, all right, that's fair.
Oh god, that's funny though. But yeah, what else? What else is in life? I guess the only thing I haven't mentioned is probably the Block Babes, which is probably another thing that I'm using in terms of education. Block Babes is kind of geared towards Gen Z. It's a newer podcast that I started up recently with Andrea, which is Crypto Gal, and Crypty, which is Crypty Girl on Twitter. And those are two very special girls, near and dear to my heart, very sweet. But it actually started out from a fallout that we had with another group of influencers, because Crypty kind of brought probably 9 girls together that wanted
way too many girls in the same room.
Yeah, it was a lot, and a cat fight broke out between 2 of these girls, and now they're arch nemesises, and it's a whole thing. And I was just like, all right, well, I really wanted to do a group situation, because I like streaming by myself is cool, but streaming with a group of people is even cooler. Collaborating with people is even cooler, and you even grow faster. So we decided to say, hey, I finally acknowledge that I'm technically part of Gen Z. I'm a 96 baby. I'll call myself a zillennial sometimes, because I still am a millennial at heart. I'm an old soul. But, and I kind of realized that if we want change, we need to start with the younger generations and bring up generational change, so that these people who will be the future politicians and, future users of this technology
I've been saying
will
this
already
a
be
lot.
acquainted
We have to
from
incriminate the youth. We have to incriminate the
youth.
We have to get them complicit and incriminate them and get them using this technology.
No,
Nope.
we want to inform.
I want a 5-year-old to launch an ICO and become a billionaire.
No, Ken, that's not how this works. No, I love informing children. Children, if I was a child and I had the opportunities that, have been presented to me today, I would be a completely different person. You know what I mean?
Or imagine if your Pokemon cards were on the blockchain and you had your private keys for your Charizard secure all these years.
If I knew Pokemon cards would be worth thousands on millions of dollars sometimes when I was 5, I would have not thrown them away. I'll tell you that much. Okay?
Right.
these are times, these are things, these are things that you know, I take as lessons now, and I wish to implement and teach the youth and teach my kids one day in the future, because it's important. You know, it's important to understand the world and how it changes, and you know, how we find new ways to make money, and how those new ways might be ways later, and how we can build off those ways. There's just so much. So yeah, our podcast kind of targets the younger generation, Gen Z. We just like to have a friendlier, actually Gen Alpha now. Apparently there's an Alpha generation, but anyways,
who told
right?
who gave them the Alpha title?
I guess we got to Z, so we had to go back in the alphabet. I'm assuming we didn't, you know, I don't know, but that's what it is. They're maybe like Alpha 2 Beta. I don't know.
Alpha 2 Beta, yeah. Okay, I'll let them have that one.
I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, so we target mostly the younger generations, but we try to have a friendly, broken down, you know, knowledgeable conversation, because there's a lot of verbiage and jargon in this space, and things that don't make sense, and words like singularity.
Money talk, right? Like, that don't matter to millennials, bro.
You know,
like, it really doesn't. Nobody cares about money talk. I want to know about the utility, or the potential utility. I want to know about the tech. That's what the youth cares about. They don't, I mean, nobody in their teens and mid-20s is considering investing. It's not a thing. You know, and people want to talk about like what they can do. I mean,
what they are considering is, hey, how can I make money?
Right. How can I?
But they don't necessarily want to trade. A lot of people don't want to trade. They're scared to trade.
As they should be. It's a trap. Trading is such a trap.
Trading is scary if you don't know what you're doing. You will lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing.
The problem is a lot of people get involved with trading during bull runs, and they think they're savant geniuses that know how to read charts, and then a bear market comes their way and they get wrecked.
Yeah, listen, I take this from somebody who jumped in during the last bull run. I found out about crypto in 2017, and I jumped in during that last bull run. Take this from somebody who took the last 3 years to read chart, and has now decided to join a trading school to like get mentored through it. Let me tell you something, it is not easy. It's not something that you just jump on. You will lose a lot of money. I've lost money. I've learned the hard way. I have built my way up my portfolio again, and I wish to do it the right way now that we're going into another run. But you know, these things, the trading comes in seasons, one. And if you understand that, then you should understand that, you know, setting up things like stop losses and probably not always doing margin and leverage trading if you don't know what the heck you're doing is not the way to go, because you will get wrecked.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. There's a lot of implications that comes to with trading, and you know, it's education. You know, don't get into crypto and start trading. Get into crypto and start educating yourself. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, definitely. Do your own research and get paid to do it. You know, you could do it with the Coinbase Earn, like Annalese mentioned earlier. There's really cool social platforms that you can engage in, and like SoMe, Rebuzz, Hive. Dude, Hive has a plethora of information that is completely free, and you could actually earn something by engaging with that information. So imagine, you know, all the questions you've ever asked on Reddit giving you a, you know, I feel like that saying may come up, like, if I had a nickel for every question I asked on Reddit, yeah, that's Hive or SoMe or all these platforms that you could use nowadays. You know, maybe get off Facebook and Twitter, check out Float. I don't know, just, you know, just do, I don't know. There's so many different places to learn about this. You know, just get out there and do it. And Altspace is probably going to be the most entertaining place to do it. And Annalese will be there as your host. Jerome has his Altspace things he does as well. You know, so yeah, let people know where they can find you and all that stuff, bro.
Guys, find me. Honestly, I'm mostly active on Twitter these days. Follow me at Annalese_BNT. I used to be a cow. Now I'm just a person, but I'm a cow sometimes. I like onesies. Today I'm a unicorn. I was gonna be a cat, but I couldn't find my ears.
I like the unicorn.
I like unicorn. But yeah, just find me on Twitter. If you guys want to find me for one of my other channels, my YouTube channels, all the links is in my Twitter bio. But at the Block Babes on YouTube and on Twitter as well, or at Bits and Tokens, YouTube, Twitter as well. That's where you can find me mostly.
And there's a link in the description box below for the BitBasel.Miami. So go ahead and click the link in the description box below and RSVP for the 5th of December, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hope I see you all there in the virtual audience. And as always, have a day.
Thanks, guys.
There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.